Hey, what's going on, guys? So my name is Ipe and I've been making money on the internet since 2014, and today I make over 100K a month. In this video, I want to share with you guys all the different business models that I've looked at on the internet. I've distilled down 6 key things, key principles that make a successful online business. Number 1, the skill is in high demand and it solves a very important problem for people. As an entrepreneur, the amount you get paid depends on the degree of difficulty of a problem that you solve. As a dropshipper, are you solving a big problem? I would argue that not necessarily. You're promoting products and you're relying on impulsive purchase and hype to sell that product on social media platforms. And you're oftentimes selling that product a lot more expensive than what people can actually get it for. And another example would be like a web builder. You're not solving a major problem because there's simple to use web builders out there where business owners can build their own websites. The problem with being in a business where you're not solving that big of a problem is that you're easily replaceable. Whereas an example of a bigger problem that you could be solving is providing more customers for a business. Small business owners need customers to survive. So if you have skills in ranking websites in Google search engine with SEO and doing lead generation, that is a pretty big problem to solve, because one of the biggest issues that a business owner has is a lack of customers. And also, you also want to make sure your service or product is in high demand. You don't want to pick, for example, like an e-commerce product that's too niche. This is why I like lead generation as well, because it's such a versatile skill. All these businesses all across the world need more customers. Number 2, the skill requires some level of mastery to do. It's not so easy for the regular person to do that skill. And the reason why this is so important is because it creates a natural barrier to entry into that business. If your skill set is so easy for anybody to master very quick, then a lot of people are going to jump into that opportunity, which is going to create a lot of competition. It's really going to be hard for you to stand out from everybody else. So for example, like social media management is not such a great online business model because it's so easy to learn how to do social media management. So what you'll end up finding is it's difficult to find a client because a lot of clients can feel like they can do it on their own. And there's also a lot of other social media marketing agencies out there, and it's really difficult to differentiate yourself from all those other people. Whereas a skill in SEO, your ability to rank websites in Google, is more of a difficult skill set to master, because Google doesn't want you to figure out how to do SEO, because Google relies on you being clueless about how SEO works so that you buy their AdWords. Always remember that the more skills is required to make a business successful, the more longevity that business has and the more lucrative it's going to be. Therefore, do not always look for online business models that promises to be easy and quick, because those tend to be business models that have low barrier of entry, that get saturated quickly. And what's also nice about a skill that requires high level of difficulty is that you get paid more for those skills. And when you get paid more for those skills, that means that you require less clients to get you to your income goals. So this is one of the biggest things I've realized, is that my first goal was to get to 10K a month. And when I realized the skill of SEO and lead generation, and I noticed that these small business owners have no problem paying anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month, I knew that I just had to get 10 clients to pay me $1,000 a month to hit my goal of $10,000 a month. That seemed a lot easier than selling a product that's $100 and having to get 100 clients. But most people go the route of selling a lot cheaper, like affiliate marketing programs or offers, because it seems easier, because most people don't want to take the time to master a more difficult, higher level skill. But what they don't understand is once you master that higher level skill, you're getting paid a lot more for each client, which means in the long run, it's going to be way easier to get to higher income goals. Number 3, it should be an online business model where you can create repeat customers for your product or service. So an example of what businesses not to pick are things like being a web builder, because you build a website for that one client, they pay you one time, and you have to go find new clients. Another one would be being like a freelance copywriter. You get hired by a company, you do some copywriting for them, and then you get paid one time, and then you have to go find new clients. And so having to go find new clients to replace that client it's such a time-consuming process. You want to look at business models that require your client to pay you on an ongoing basis. Getting a client under contract to do marketing for them, like paid traffic, SEO, or what we do is lead generation, where we have our own website that's generating leads for our clients, and our client has to pay us on an ongoing basis to continue to get our leads. New client acquisition is like the hardest part of any business. So we're basically trying to reduce as much of that friction as possible of you having to go out into the world, explain to people that don't know who you are, what you do, what is your product or service, and having to close that person. Number 4, you own and control your own assets. So let me explain. There's a lot of online business models out there where the platform owns everything. So for example, Amazon FBA, one of the biggest weakness of that business model is that Amazon owns everything. So if your account gets suspended, you can literally lose your business overnight. You don't own the listing. You can't even collect the customer's email addresses. These kind of problems kind of exist on YouTube as well. YouTube can shut down your channel. So it is highly recommended that even on YouTube to have a funnel where you can collect customers' emails, because when you have a customer email list, that's something that no platform can take away from you, which is why email lists are one of the key things in a lot of online business models for most people, because it is a digital asset that you own and control. I personally generate all my income and revenue online, over 100K a month, because I leverage websites that I own and control. So I refuse to go on platforms where I can't control my own digital asset. My blog, epay.com, where I have 1,500 articles that's generating traffic for our lead gen coaching program. That is a blog that I own and control. No one can take away from me. You know, I have over 50 local lead generation websites. I own and control those, and the phone number. Nobody can take away those digital assets from me. The beauty with local lead gen is that even if one client was to leave or quit or retire from the business, I still own that #1 ranked website, and all I have to do is forward my phone calls to some other client, and within a week or two I'll find a new client to continue to pay me month after month for that specific local lead gen site. Another example is like dropshipping, is you don't own anything because you're spending so much time creating funnels and ads, but if your ad account gets shut down, you lose all of that. You don't even own the product as well, because you're shipping products from other suppliers that own that product. The only way to make dropshipping business more long-term, where you actually own something, is when you find the winning product, is to transition that into more of an e-commerce business model, where you actually create a real brand, because a real brand is almost like a digital asset. You own that brand, and you source your own products from a reputable supplier, get some inventory, and create a whole brand where eventually you have the opportunity to exit and sell that brand. That's truly owning your own asset in the e-commerce space. And one more thing, this is another reason why I'm not a huge fan of paid ads agency. Those agencies that run Google AdWords or Facebook ads for small businesses, is because those business models, even though it might be faster to get some clients, you still don't own anything. So a client can fire you at any time. And because you don't own any digital assets, if they were paying you $2,000 a month, suddenly you can lose that income. I've tried all these different things, and in my experience, I found that owning your own digital asset that's generating income or traffic is the only way to create long-term passive income, where you actually feel confident that income is not going anywhere. Number 5, you want to find businesses where you can give yourself a competitive advantage. So this is the difference between what they call being in the blue ocean or the red ocean. The red ocean are the noobs, the amateurs. It's basically paints a picture of a bunch of sharks biting at each other, fighting with each other, because there's no competitive advantage. They're all trying to fight for the scraps, and this is why it's a red ocean. It's a bloodbath of people competing with each other, your competitors undercutting your prices, and you get into this whole battle of racing to the bottom. You just keep lowering your prices, you get paid less for what you do, and you're very unhappy and burnt out. Whereas the blue ocean strategy is that you have such a competitive advantage with your product or service in the marketplace that you can exist on your own with no other sharks around. Hence, it's a blue ocean. Okay, so let me give you some examples. SEO is an example where there's a potential to become the blue ocean, because there's over 100 ranking signals in SEO, and most people cannot figure out what those are, which is why I'm able to show you guys my local lead gen sites or my blog, and I'm not worried about getting outranked because I've been doing ranking and SEO over the last 7-8 years, and I've studied this thing at a very deep level with over 100 different ranking signals. Most people just know about great content and backlinks, but I have techniques way beyond that which allows my site to outrank my competition, which means that whether it's local lead generation that I'm doing or I'm ranking a blog and selling a digital program, I'm able to be in my own lane and not worry about competition. Another example would be a regular dropshipper would be in the red ocean. They're fighting with each other. A bunch of people are creating the same ads and they're diluting the marketplace and they're spending more cost per click per ad because there's more people running the same ad. An example of how you can become more blue ocean would be in dropshipping is to find special suppliers and foster special connections with certain suppliers and earn the right to sell certain special brands. And these brands already have some sort of clout and reputation, and most dropshippers are going to Alibaba and those places like this to sell really generic products with no branding, whereas a savvy dropshipper is finding connections and being able to authorize to become a retailer for known brands or even just products that the regular dropshipper doesn't have access to. Now, when you're able to dropship that kind of product, even if other people see your ad, they're not going to be able to duplicate it because they don't know where to even source that product. Now, that's an example of giving yourself a competitive advantage. You have to think outside the box. And this is why in business, people that consistently innovate are the ones that are leading the industry. Let me give one example of another business model where I have an issue with is Amazon FBA, because in my opinion on Amazon FBA, it's only a matter of time before you get thrown into the red ocean. Why? Because most average person that get into Amazon FBA don't have the competitive advantage of suppliers in China or distributors that's been in the game of e-commerce over the last 20-30 years. You know, these people have special connections with suppliers in China and they can get special deals that a regular person like me and you don't have access to. So the only way to succeed in Amazon FBA is to find niches where there isn't those big players in that space yet. But the question is, how long is it gonna last until a supplier that can severely undercut your prices can come into the space and outcompete you, and there's really nothing you can do? So this is why e-commerce is extremely challenging. It's very difficult to give yourself a competitive advantage unless you have a big capital to invest in your own inventory at huge bulk, or you're willing to go to China and make connections. Number 6 in the final is you have a way to remove yourself from the business. So an example of a business model that is lacking this is like being a YouTuber, right? One thing that I don't like about the YouTube business model is that once you start creating content, you get stuck on this hamster wheel of continually having to create content, or your income begins to go down because YouTube algorithm only favors channels that are consistently uploading new content. And also new videos on YouTube, when they age after 1 to 2 years, they severely start to drop in ranking. So really your YouTube channel needs to consistently upload new content all the time. Whereas the reason why I like my blog is I have articles from 2-3 years ago that we've written and it's still ranking and generating traffic and leads. Whereas YouTube, if you have a video 2-3 years old, it's gonna be like half or less than half of the traffic that it once was. Now, I'm not saying being a YouTuber is a bad business model. It is highly saturated, highly competitive today. I don't recommend it for most beginners. I think it's too difficult for most beginners because it is a business model where you have to consistently be uploading new content. In my opinion, you have to be cut from a certain cloth. You have to be somebody that's extremely passionate about being a YouTuber, being on camera, and filming content around a specific topic or niche that you're extremely interested in and passionate in. And in my opinion, not everybody's cut out for that kind of workload on a consistent basis over that long of a term. This is why I like local lead generation, because you can build these lead gen websites just one time and rank it in one time. It's gonna take you 15-20 hours in the span of 2 to 3 months, and these websites are gonna pay you on a monthly basis for years and years to come. I have lead gen sites from 2014, 2015, still paying me anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a month. This is a business model where I can remove myself out of the business because these lead gen sites I haven't touched in years. I have a whole team that is managing them. So I can completely exit the business, take a vacation for the next 6 months, and my lead gen business is going to continue to operate just fine. That is a really kind of powerful thing to think about. Also, businesses like software allows you to do that. It's a faceless business. It allows you to create a scalable business because you don't always have to be involved. And those businesses are also great because your face is not required to be a factor for the success of that business. These type of businesses have an opportunity where you can exit. Other groups can come in and offer you 10x multiples and buy your business, and you can get a large exit with a faceless business. So that leads me into the conclusion of this video. Those are the 6 things that leads to a successful online business. It really is going to depend on who you are and what natural gifts or talents that you have, what natural like maybe connections that you have, where some of these business models are going to be a better fit for you. If you're somebody that have connections in overseas and you can source different products that other people don't have access to, maybe creating an e-commerce brand out of the gate, you're gonna have a higher success rate. But if you're just a regular person working a 9 to 5 and you don't have any business experience, the key things to look for is you want a business that has a skill set that solves a big problem. That skill should be able to create repeat customers, and that skill should be a high level skill, so each customer is actually paying you a really good money, so you need less customers to reach your financial goals. And that business should allow you to own digital assets that you own and control, so that you're not all reliant on some other platform where they can take your entire business away from you. This gives you longevity, security, and stability. And I will leave with this. Over the last 8 to 9 years, I've studied all these other online business models, tried all of them. The one online business model that has all 4 of those aspects is local lead generation, which is why I'm still passionately talking about this business model even to this day, even though I've been doing it since 2014. In my opinion, it is the most doable business for most people, and it's gonna allow you to achieve success more smoothly and faster than most online business models, in my opinion. So if you're interested in local lead generation, I have a link in the description. If you click to the next page, I have a dope webinar for you where it'll explain this business model A through Z. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, and if you have any questions, leave me a comment. I will be personally answering any questions that you guys leave me in the comments. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we're going to be dropping more of these kind of insights about online businesses. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.